Hello everyone, my name is Pixlriffs and welcome back to the Minecraft Survival Guide. I hope you guys are having a good day. Today, I'm going to head over to the Stronghold because this is end week, and to celebrate that, what I want to do to start off with is make the Stronghold look a little bit cooler for us as a player, because we have a bunch of stuff built in the overworld already around our base. We've got cool nether portals and the nether hub is still a work in progress, but I want to do something with the portal that we use to get to the end. Because for those of you who didn't know, the Stronghold here is only one of 128 strongholds that can spawn in a Java Edition Minecraft world. There are a few restrictions to it on Bedrock Edition. I think you guys have the same amount of strongholds potentially in an infinite world, but smaller worlds and earlier kind of console versions only had a maximum of 3 strongholds. So sometimes you have to be a little bit careful about how exactly you remodel them and modify them and stuff. And there are a few problems with wanting to do anything to this area. For a start, end portal frame blocks cannot be broken by the player. They're basically bedrock. They're basically made out of a similar kind of stuff, and while you can place Eyes of Ender in them like so, that doesn't ever change. This section in the middle here is what's going to have to stay constant in this redesign of the Stronghold we're going to do. However, everything else around it is fair game. And so what I want to do, I'm going to probably kill this silverfish because he's just annoying me now. One of the things I want to do is basically remodel this entire thing to be more like a kind of, not a scale model of the end as such, but to have the environment be sort of inspired by the end. You've already got obsidian and purple in the nether portal, so even having a nether portal in here is not going to feel particularly out of place. But I want to work with a color scheme of endstone brick, purple, the end portal frame, and those kind of darker blocks. Probably bring in some black concrete to give the impression of the void that you see all the time in the end. We could jump through to get a little bit of inspiration if you like, because around here you have the central island, which has all of the obsidian pillars, has a lot of endermen, has all of the end gateways, and various bits around the outside. And in the long term, I have some really cool plans for this as well. We're going to make a kind of ring around the outside of the end, which is going to give us much easier access to all of these bedrock portals instead of having to staircase or pillar up to each of them. It's going to be great to have like a platform going all the way around the outside for easy ender pearl access. And later on this week, as well as building the ender, what I want to do is start to terraform sections of the end. What we're going to do is go out to an area. We're going to pick one of these gateway portals. We're going to go out there and we're going to start turning it into what's eventually going to be an end village. Because that's right, you can have villagers out here in the end. Now, naturally, the only kind of thing that spawns out here is endermen, but we can bring some villagers through the portal in much the same way that we enter the end ourselves. We can drop some villagers through that end portal, and we will end up being able to make a village out here. That's going to be a bit of fun, and it's also going to be a bit of a challenge, but I'm up for it this week, and I hope you guys are as well. But first, we have to make sure we get to make our grand entrance, and that the villagers will be able to come through to the end in the first place without having to tangle with stuff in the Stronghold. And so that involves making it a slightly nicer space for us to live. And I just realized that I'm going to respawn at my base by jumping through the portal, so I guess you need to give me a second to get back over to the Stronghold. Alright, here we are again, and I should probably sleep here just to make sure that if I go through the portal again by mistake, I don't end up respawning at my base again and again and again. But down here, we have a lot of space to work with, really. We are currently at Y30-something, or 28 as we get to the end portal down here, and we can remodel this space how we want. Aside from the fact that there are occasional silverfish monster eggs in the walls, we really don't have that much to trouble us down here. There's a zombie pigman in here somewhere, apparently, may have just come through the end portal. But yeah, we could hollow out this entire area. We could take a look at what the Stronghold area actually looks like. We could basically demolish the entire thing, and what I'm planning on doing is building, like I said, a kind of scale model style thing of the end, inspired by the landscape of the end and the infinite void around it. So I'm going to get started on that. I'm going to do a fair amount of this off camera because it's just going to be me taking down the walls of the Stronghold and everything, but after that, I think we can do some pretty cool design stuff. Hey folks, welcome back, and I am really happy with how this has turned out. Here we are, in a kind of simulation void room, I guess. As you can maybe see, I don't know quite how this is going to come across with YouTube's compression and everything, but this is a cube that's about 33 blocks wide, made entirely out of black concrete and with a floor of black glass because it's a transparent block that will prevent mobs from spawning. Now, as you can hear behind me, a lot of mobs have spawned elsewhere in this stronghold and the surrounding cave system that I am going to have to track down and at least light up the areas where they could spawn and, if not kill the mobs outright, this very minute, because, yeah, they're kind of annoying. It's kind of irritating walking into this room that's supposed to feel like sensory deprivation and the kind of complete blackness of the void, and then hear a bunch of zombie and spider noise around you. And you can hear it when you're standing on the portal island as well, so that's kind of distracting me from the experience slightly. But what we've got here is a large empty room where I can build a bunch of more of these islands, and I'm actually going to make this look like the end island as opposed to having all of the stronghold structure in here. The only thing I'm not going to move is the end portal frame blocks because, as I mentioned before, you can't. And so I think it's going to be fun to have a few floating islands around here. Not necessarily, like, strictly emulating the central end island because, let's face it, there is only one of those, and it's kind of fun to have other stuff floating around. We could have, like, the chorus fruit and stuff growing here and there as well if we wanted to give it a bit more atmosphere. I'm going to take down the beacon as well. The main reason I have the beacon there is so that I can haste mine out all of the stone and stone brick, which took a lot less time than it would have done moving absolutely everything by hand one block at a time. But I think I'm going to move the Nether Portal upwards slightly. We're going to have it on its own floating island, but it's going to be a little bit higher up so that you can look down on this from above, because we're going to be having like obsidian pillars around this portal and that kind of stuff, and it's going to be nice being able to look down towards this. Hopefully it won't be too close to the ceiling that you could see it, but I think once we remove the beacon from out of here, and if we do some kind of careful control of the light sources, we're still going to end up with an area that isn't spawnable for hostile mobs like some corners of this are right now. We can hide lighting around here, or maybe put some end rods because they are slightly more at home in this kind of environment. And what we're going to end up with is a really nice looking atmospheric entrance to the end dimension. That's the whole plan anyway. So I figure we might as well time-lapse a couple of these island builds because I'm going to be doing them a few around the room. I've got a ton of scaffolding on me, which is going to be very helpful, and I've got some end stone in this chest down here. I can always head back and get some more if I need to, but for now I think I might just go and take out all of those zombies and spiders in the ceiling before I begin. So I will be right back, and we're going to do this in the form of a time-lapse. Welcome back, folks. Hope you enjoyed the time-lapse, and I hope you enjoy the result. I'm actually really happy with this, and you can kind of tell thanks to where I've lit up this place a little bit with the fire over here and the torches in there. You can sort of tell, standing in this room, that it is a big concrete box. But if you look over this way, which is the way you're going to be looking if you're going to the portal anyway, you sort of don't notice the corners. There's definitely a line up there that I can see. I don't know if you guys can or not. Especially up in this corner, it's quite clear that, yep, that is the corner of a few different blocks. But in the center here, we have the portal surrounded by the obsidian pillars, and I liked this detail. I even put stone buttons on each of these to represent the little bedrock pedestals that the end crystals leave behind once they explode. I thought that was kind of cool. But anyway, we have here the end portal surrounded by the island and the obsidian pillars. Got a representation of the outer end here with the chorus plants, some of which are still growing, although I think they're encountering the ceiling now and probably having to slow down a little bit. And this kind of weird, it looks sort of like it's wearing a graduation cap, doesn't it? It looks like Mike Wazowski wearing a graduation cap, except purple and yellow. But it's meant to be a miniature end city, of course, and I didn't want to put too much detail into this because I don't have the headroom to really work with it, but I liked having this around. And if there was a way that I could just trap a few Endermen around here without having to have them in minecarts, or maybe even have them in minecarts but have them like a layer down here, just one block down, so that you don't see the minecart from the outside and they're just like standing in a kind of weird pose, I guess. It would be kind of neat to have this place also super populated by Endermen. And also, it would provide me with a couple of extra ender pearls if I needed to get back up to the island here. So the idea is that only really this island and perhaps that island are the ones that you want to get to. And you might have noticed that up here, I've put a bed and an ender chest, and the reason that both of these things are surrounded by fire is because beds explode when you use them in the end, so the idea is a reminder, at least, that beds will be slightly volatile if used when you travel through the portal to the end. However, the bed out here can be used to set your spawn, and maybe I should perhaps remove some of the fire before I do that, but yeah, the idea being that you can set your spawn here before you go through and fight the dragon, and that way you get an easy reset to this point if you need to gear back up again during the dragon fight. That's the plan. Obviously, when it comes to exploring the outer end, you probably want to go back to your base, so having this bed here isn't going to be a necessity for circumstances like that, but even so, I think it's kind of cool to have something like this around, and I really like the way this room ultimately turned out. We could expand the walls even further away if we wanted to, just to give more of the illusion of space inside of here, or if we wanted to put a little bit more detail in, but for a small-scale project, I'm really happy with how this turned out, and I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. That is where we're going to leave it for today. Bit of a shorter one today, I guess, but we do have some plans for later on in the week that are going to be very much like terraforming projects and stuff like that out in the end. Basically, having now brought a section of the end to the overworld, I want to bring a section of the overworld to the end. So we're going to start our own custom biome project out in one of the end islands. We're going to pick a gateway in the next episode and go out there and do some interesting terraforming stuff, with the end goal being to make a village out there in the end, which can be done, and believe it or not, villagers are able to sleep in beds in the end, which the players are not, so it's going to be fun to see what we can do out there and see if I remember that I don't have to sleep in a bed to skip through the night and everything. But that's going to be it for this episode of the Minecraft Survival Guide. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Don't forget to leave a like on it if you did, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye for now.